Good morning, humanity. How are you this day of August 17th, 2020? It's that time again because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, everybody. My name is Paul.
Hello, this is Bev.
This is Bev. Tell us where you're at this week, Bev.
Oh, I'm in Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying this nice, wonderful, cool heat?
The memories are coming back now. Yes.
Yeah, we can call it a cool heat. I know today we're only going to get to be 107. I mean, it's cooling down.
Wow.
It's cooling down,
Oh,
folks.
wow. I'm so excited.
Yes. So we got another good show today. We were talking about how we just really enjoy every week coming to you to just continually reminding ourselves and all of you out there the importance of doing biotouch for this planetary healing, for this stressor that's everywhere in humanity. I mean, the one nice thing about this pandemic is everybody's focusing on the same thing, and biotouch can just fit right into that. So
Yes.
we love these shows. So if you have any questions you want us to address, just send us a little email, office@justtouch.com. And one of the questions we get quite often is, what's the most profound thing that you've seen happen with biotouch? And we always talk about everything from an allergy, sinus headache going away to this story we want to talk about here. Is the title of our show is "The Blind Shall See." Almost becomes biblical. We haven't seen anybody walk on water yet. I try every day at the house.
I keep waiting for you, Paul.
I don't know. We'll try. I keep trying, but the blind shall see. And that I would have to say was a profound experience. And what we wanted to share with all of you before we talk about this, both at the external level and the internal level, is a testimonial that we have from Curtis. He was a 75-year-old man, and he is in the book, BioTouch Healing with the Power in Our Fingertips. There's also, if you go online, there's a testimonial page, talking story with everybody. And you can just look up blind and you'll find his testimonial there too. We just wanted to read a part of it before we start to talk about it. It says it has to do with healing and consequently improving my mental attitude. It has happened to many people in this regard, and I want to relate the story exactly as it happened without any imagination, without any recourse to embellishment, or any of that sort of thing. I'll do my best to be straight and honest. And then Curtis goes on to talk a little more about what happened, the different problems he had, how he heard about BioTouch. He lived in Durango. We were in Mancos, so that's about 20 miles away. And so he always had somebody drive him there. Uh, I'm sorry, but I'm very much of a skeptic on anything he says when he first came. And he had a leukemia problem, and he had what was called retinosa pigmentosa, and he was blind for the past 2017 to 20 years, something like that. He says, I kept going week after week and kept feeling better. And he talked about how his blood count improved. And then he goes on, then the practitioners were working on my eyes and never giving up. He says, well, they never gave up and I kept feeling better. Every time I would have a treatment, I would feel wonderful, sometimes 2, 3 days after. My treatments went down to twice a week, and I still felt good. My leukemia just didn't bother me at all, even though sometimes the count would go up fairly high and then come down again. But then one morning, a few months ago, I went into the bathroom and turned on the light as I always do. I looked in the mirror, and there I saw the ugliest old man I had ever seen. His eyes were dark sockets. He had white hair over him. It shook me up, for I realized it was me that I was actually seeing. I couldn't believe it. Then he goes on a little later. The last thing that happened to me was one day when we were riding home from Mancos. I thought I saw a light out of the corner of my eye. I looked over to the right, and there was the most beautiful sight I had ever seen after my wife. Looking over there, I saw those two great mountains. I had no idea those mountains were that high. We were coming down into Cherry Creek. In the sky were flimsy clouds. The sun had gone down behind one of the mountains and it was shining on those clouds. Such a beautiful sunset. I was astounded. I told them what I was seeing. I described it and they said I was right. I could see what I thought were trees on one mountain and followed it up as high as I could go. But by then, it was only a matter of a minute or so and it started fading out. But I had seen. That scene has been scarred into my mind. I take it out periodically to see it. It was beautiful.
Wow. What a lovely thing to share.
Totally. I mean,
I know.
working with him, he was an amazing elder in the community. And
Yeah.
so that was over 20 some odd years ago. So I have no idea where Curtis is these days, if he's even still on the planet.
Right.
But the
Right.
idea of him seeing perfectly um, just takes us to not just that physical seeing, but how biotouch helps us come to our own self awareness. And you were talking about that kind of seeing. How do we help that kind of seeing also?
Yeah. So, when we talk about sight, I mean, the first thing we think about is, of course, um, our physical sight, our eyes. But there's something else that biotouch is really promotes. We call it self-awareness, but it's also this inner vision that happens that really doesn't have anything to do with looking out into the physical world with our physical eyes. This is an evolution of consciousness or self-awareness that begins to happen biotouch. Because when you in that story of Curtis, first of all, what he was, even when it faded, there was this sense of hope that everything's possible. And I think right now, what humanity hasn't had and what we really are craving and need, that what's on has is a positive construction of building something new. And in order to do that, you have to have a vision. You have to have a more open, loving vision or a different awareness. And I think much of humanity over the world is beginning to open to this in their own lives. And what happens, we begin to have a bigger vision. We have more clarity of thought. We have this inner sight. And that's what gives us the hope that we can create something. The same thing happens in our own bodies with biotouch. So when Curtis was getting the eyes done, he also had this other, leukemia. And it was interesting because it reminded how holistic biotouch is.
Right.
The body itself, its natural state is balance and wholeness. It doesn't matter if you're, sometimes we've said, well, you could be doing the Iset, but the body's going to take that touch and it's going to take it where it wants to have it. So with consistency, we know that's one of the main keys of healing. I don't care what you're talking about, biotouch for sure. In that consistency over time, we begin to experience an inner sight that changes and helps us to see what we need to change and the different choices that we need to now make.
Right.
And I really think that's why biotouch is so profound at this time, and why this foundation has a responsibility to bring this incredible gift into everyone's lives, because it helps us each individually, in our families, in our nations, in this planet, to bring us all into a greater vision of what we want. What, you know, the
Right.
self awareness of we can create something new here. And when you're healthy and you're more productive and you can contribute. So it's all together. It's all part of the same
All
whole.
together now.
It's all together. That's the great, I think at this time, what biotech has to offer all
Right.
of us.
So what I like about that too is that vision you talked about, seeing what we need to do. I think what I see with BioTouch too is it gives us that inner courage to act on it. Right now we're
Yeah.
being inundated, as always, with so many options, and this is the truth, and this is the truth, and here's these numbers, and here's those numbers, and
Yeah.
what's nice about BioTouch is you come to terms with what it is you need, what it is that's going to help you and your body in this journey we call life, and that's what the beauty is. It's an empowering tool also, so that self-awareness, that vision turns into an action, based on what we know is true. And that's a difficult thing to do when you're constantly being bombarded with, oh, you should try this, oh, try that, oh, do this, oh, do that. It's like, oh my God.
You know, with that inner vision or that clarity of sight or self-awareness, what every single one of us on this planet, and it's stated in our vision statement, that circle, when you experience biotouch in your life, that individual um, clarity, the changing of sight, that self-awareness begins in each of us. But the whole purpose of that is that we get to a point where we're healthy and whole, and we can collaborate with the rest of our brothers and sisters on this planet. Everything, it might be an individual beginning, but the whole purpose is to experience what's really going on. And that is this whole group called humanity is I almost hate to use the word connected. It's such a moot point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, well, duh.
Yeah,
So
right. It's
as
like
in,
all on this
uh-huh,
little round disc,
yeah,
if you believe
so
that.
the power of biotouch in the beginning is exactly what has to happen.
Right.
It has to bring us individually into an awareness, and that awareness go, oh my gosh, I'm not an individual, I'm part of a group. I'm this beautiful radiant thread of love in this greater group. And that's why we are working. That's why we're here, to remember. So
Right.
that circle that goes on indefinitely, that community, that's what BioTouch has the power to do ultimately.
So it's just very simple, folks. It's just reaching out and touching another human being, and the story will unfold itself. And this Iset that we're going to show you here in a minute, we had another experience with that when I was working on Jenny, and she had this macular pucker, the macular and the retina and whatever this problem is. And one of the only ways they deal with it is a surgery. And so we had set up the surgery, and we were going to go in, and you had to go there at 4 in the morning, and get all ready. And so it's the day before. Well, 2 weeks before, we decided, we better get ready for the surgery. So we decided to do BioTouch at least once, if not twice a day. And we go in the day before the surgery, and they do the usual drops in the eye, and the guy tests her sight with the little letters on the wall, and he goes, do you think you're seeing any better, because you're reading the letters better? She says, well, I thought maybe I was, but I thought maybe it was just of my mind. So anyhow, we go into the doctor, the retina specialist, and he pulls up the picture of her eye with the macular pucker, and he turns to her and he says, are you seeing any better? And she goes, well, yeah, I think so, but I don't know. And he looked at the thing and he goes, well, I'll tell you, it's better. And there's really no need for us to do the operation. What?
Wow.
First of all, you don't hear that from a doctor. If
Oh, heavens,
you're
no.
going in for the next day, he's already on the schedule. He just lost a lot of money on that one. But
Wow.
we went okay, and I mean we were in shock.
Yeah. Oh my
Our
gosh.
body was in shock. We just
Yeah.
started crying. The
Yeah.
joy of, something so simple that we weren't even expecting to divert the operation. We were just getting ready for the pre-post op thing, and the
Yeah.
eyes got better.
That's crazy.
Who knows?
Crazy good.
Who
That's
knows? The blind
that.
shall
Who
see,
knows?
and you can help that happen. Again, we don't claim anything, but we
Right.
know it can't hurt. And even like in our situation, we just did it for pre-post op, and the icing on the cake was we didn't have to do either one.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, it was incredible. So
Great
we want to
stuff.
make sure you learn the Iset. So let's show it to you here, and then we'll come right back to you. Let's see, where's the set here?
The Iset is performed on the same side of the head. It may be used to address any type of eye conditions. Hold point X is located on both sides of the head and may be found in either of the following ways. Place the first two fingers of one hand in the indentation beside the neck muscle at the base of the skull, then slide the fingers up the back of the skull, over a rise in the bone, to a very definite valley or dent which is hold point X. Another way to find X is to estimate a point about 1/3 of the way down from the top of the ear and 1 to 1.5 inches behind the back edge of the ear. Again, there is a definite valley or dent in the skull, and this is hold point X. It is also the same as point 4 of the head set. To perform this set, hold X and touch points 1 through 4 which are on the same side of the head as X. These points are in a line beginning at point 1, which is just in front of where the ear meets the face. Point 2 is halfway between point 1 and the outside corner of the eye. Point 3 is at the outside corner of the eye. To touch point 4, ask the recipient to close their eye and touch on the recipient's closed eyelid. This is a sensitive area, so work gently. Repeat the procedure on the other side of the head. Hold point X, and with the other hand touch point 1, which is just in front of where the ear meets the face. Point 2 is halfway between point 1 and the outside corner of the eye, and point 3 is at the outside corner of the eye. End with point 4 on the recipient's closed eyelid.
And there you have it.
There you have it.
Just do it once, twice if you have some eye problems you're working with, if you're going in for an operation. It can't hurt.
Oh my goodness.
It,
No.
it can only help. So just doing that greeting and doing the Iset, we can't tell you enough how much we just want you all to do BioTouch. And we want you to learn it. And so we have numerous ways to learn it. You just go to our website, justtouch.com, and I realized yesterday as I was doing all those health conditions, we
Yeah.
give this stuff away. It's there. You can
I
pull
know.
up a health condition and it shows you how to work with it. It gives you the 3 or 4 sets of points. And I think I'm getting ready to just put all the workbooks on all the different health conditions. We're not trying to make some money here. We're trying to get BioTouch into your family. So
Yeah.
go online, justtouch.com, and start learning how to do BioTouch just for a particular condition. You don't need all the 17 sets of points.
Right.
Join us.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I know. And so if you want to learn the whole system, we have one of our virtual trainings, which are becoming really awesome. And we have one tomorrow. If you're still interested in that, you can still sign up for it. You get the ebook with that. You get a year membership. And it's a 6.5 hour program. We do it virtually. You practice the points. We watch you practice the points. We share with you the history of where the points came. We do the whole program right online.
Right.
It's an
It's
awesome
great.
thing. So that's
It
tomorrow.
is.
Go online to register for that. And then not next Thursday, the 27th, we have our workshop coming up, Postpartum Care with Dr. Nancy Aton. She's a naturopath here in Tucson. That's August 27th, and we start at 6 p.m. Tucson time, Arizona time. And again, continuing ed credits are available to massage therapists, nurses, and droolers. And those are all done. It's a donation basis, so you can get one CE credit and learn something important that you can add into your practice with your clients. Just amazing. We have so many fun things to do.
We do, and it just keeps going on.
Keeps going on. And we're here every week because we just enjoy being with you all. And that's another week that we just talked our head off.
Yeah.
Thank you,
We
Bev.
did it again.
They did it again. And thank you all. We'll see you next week.
We will.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand the healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action.